Hey everyone, Liz Holterhouse, OBX for Sale Real Estate Group, powered by Keller Williams. Back to you today to continue the listing agent series. And we are going to talk about what happens once you sign the listing documents, because last week we talked about the listing appointment. So you've decided to list your home with me and you've signed the listing documents. Now what happens? And we need to set clear expectations here because a lot of stuff is going to happen. It's not going to be oftentimes what you think is going to happen. You think a sign's going to go in the yard that day and a key's going to go in the lockbox and we're going to have showings the next day. That's not how this works. So once you sign your listing documents, I don't actually sign until we get a very long list of stuff done. And that list is a list that is different for every house. It depends on whether or not your home is in a short-term rental program or whether it's a primary. If it's a short-term rental, there's another whole list of things that need to be taken care of, like the vacation rental addendum, which we talked about last time, and how many weeks of rent do you have coming up and things like that. So we will get all of that stuff set up. And when I say we, it's my assistant and I, Eileen, will get to work just going down our checklist. And one of the first things that we have to do is turn all of our documentation and everything into compliance. Then we will start collecting things. And many of these items you may have already given us. Some of them we may have already gotten ourselves through our research prior to meeting you, but whatever we're missing, we're going to go looking for. And it could be things like HOA documents and assessments and confirming fees if your property has a homeowners association. It could be a list of all your vendors, who takes care of your pool, all those things. It could be a list of your maintenance items over the course of the last year. It would be stuff that we're going to put together in our plan of what we need to do to stage, what do we need to buy, scheduling pictures, scheduling drone. Do we need to schedule Matterport tours, which is your 3D tours? We're going to start working on your partial listing in MLS so it's ready to go as soon as we get our pictures. We're going to write the description, the ad copies, get our ads ready to go on social media, Google, Facebook, Instagram, places like that. We're going to collect what we call associated documents. So your disclosures that you've signed, and everything that we can find about your house that is valuable to a buyer and a buyer's agent. And these are things like surveys and septic permits and things like that. If your home doesn't have a pool and it's in an area where we know a buyer is going to want to add a pool, I'm going to do some initial research to find out if we can add a pool with any certainty. And I'm going to get that in writing so I can kind of do the job of the buyer agent. So it kind of moves the process along, especially for an inexperienced buyer agent that doesn't know how to determine if there is room for a pool. We already do it, we put it out there, and it should help to accommodate your buyers a little bit better. We will figure out what we're doing, or not figure out, but kind of create our plan around circle prospecting, just listed postcards. Are we doing a broker open? When are we doing it? So we can let you know. And then are we doing open houses thereafter? And do we need to block the house with a rental company, or do we need to let you know so you can plan to be out of the house? All that kind of stuff. So also, if you're wanting to do any pre-inspections, you want to do a termite inspection before you go on the market, or a home inspection before you go on the market. And these two things can be very, very, very valuable, especially as we get into the rental season, because it's very hard for a buyer to get finished with all of this stuff during due diligence in a short due diligence time period in the summer, because the only day, typically only one day a week is the only day a inspector can get into your home, and he's trying to get into multiple homes on that same very day, usually a Saturday. So we can facilitate the process and make it run much smoother sometimes with some of these pre-inspections. Those pre-inspections are up to you, but if you want them, I will go ahead and definitely get them ordered and scheduled. Any repairs, painting, carpet, LVP installations, anything that we're wanting to do to spruce up the home, I can go ahead and schedule and facilitate getting the vendors in and out of the home as fast as possible so we can get it on the market. Once we get our pictures, we're going to upload this to MLS and put the final touches on our MLS listing. And then we would send that MLS listing to you for you to review and make comments and let us know any tweaks that you might have. We've, by now, if you're in a short-term rental program, collected as much as we can from the rental company. We have access to the house. We have a key, a CABA code, that type of thing. We've set up all your showing instructions and showing time. And we have completely set up your digital file in our CRM. And we've got you scheduled for seller updates and things going forward, because as soon as we hit the live button, we're going to start documenting all the inquiries about your house, all the questions about your house, all the showings, things like that, so we can give you feedback reports weekly or bi-weekly. So once all of that is done and we are certain that we are putting forth our best look, because we're not going to rush this unless for some reason you need to be on the market immediately. We're not going to do a quick rush job. We definitely want to look as beautiful as possible, because we only have one opportunity to make that first impression, and we never get that back. So once we know we've got it perfect, then we're going to go live. And once we go live, we will then schedule our broker opens. We'll do all of our just listed campaigns out there. We'll be syndicated on Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com, all of those places. You'll be able to see your listing. We will send you a link to the collab center so you can see changes in MLS in and around your community. And we will also send you links to your social media advertisements. Not all of them, not the actual paid advertisements, because those we don't see. They're just out there and they're put in front of people through the algorithms and Facebook and Instagram based on their searching habits. But there are links that we can share with you from our websites and stuff where you can share your listing in your hometown as well. And then we're going to start getting to work looking for a buyer for your property and marketing our database, calling the top agents in the area and inviting them to the broker open. We are reaching out to potential buyers, people who have maybe written offers in that community before and didn't find what they were looking for, that type of thing. So we are, every day, I told you, from 9 to 12, we are lead generating, looking for properties for our buyers and looking for buyers for our listings. So that kind of wraps up what is happening right after you sign those listing documents. So a for sale sign does not go in the yard the first day. That is not allowed. We can't have for sale signs up and stuff until we are actually live in our MLS. So how long does that take? It just depends. It depends on how much information I already have. But typically we try to go live on a Wednesday or a Thursday in preparation for the weekend, and that gives buyers plenty of time to plan their trips down and things like that. And that just works out better for you too, because if it's a home that a buyer absolutely thinks they want to have, I think it's always better if they see it in person versus a virtual showing. Nothing wrong with a virtual showing, but we want to give them enough time to get here, if that's what their plan is. So going into the weekend, it's a nice pace, and it gives the agents a chance to get their showing scheduled and stuff like that. And then we would go through the entire weekend. So even if we typically have an initial first offer, if we've got a bunch of showings scheduled, my advice to you is going to be just to kind of hold off a day or so and let these showings go through, because more than one offer is always the better place for a seller to be, but the bird in the hand is always better than the one in the bush. So we're not going to make a buyer who was able to get themselves together quickly and get their offer together quickly. You don't want to make them wait so long that they just say the heck with it and move on to the next thing either. So there's a fine balance there. But if we've got 8-10 showings still scheduled that day, we're going to try to go through those showings. But of course, you're the boss. I'll give you my advice and you can let me know how you want me to proceed. So we've got the listing documentation signed and we are live on MLS, and advertising is in place, and we're starting to get showings. In our next episode, we're going to talk about offers and what happens once we go under contract. Liz Holterhouse, OBX for Sale Real Estate Group, powered by Keller Williams, wrapping up this episode on the listing series, How to Hire a Rockstar Agent Like Me. And I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you so much.